What's good, party people? This is According to Woods with a very talented guest. He is literally a one-man band. He's Wise. Wise, how are you feeling tonight, my man?
Good, man. The last time we did this was what, 2014? Dang,
2004.
that's a long time ago.
Absolutely. But I mean, since that time, you've played some interesting places. I mean, you're literally all over the South Bay region of Southern California, in Vegas. I mean, you're literally conquering the world with your music. Um, I mean, it's been 5 years. Like,
Yeah.
what's been the coolest gig that you've played thus far?
Dude, everywhere I play is cool. Um, Coronado, Hotel Del. That'd be one of the coolest places I've played. For real, man. Right by the water.
No, man. What is that? North County, San Diego,
San
right?
Diego, San Diego.
Yeah, man. And that's always a cool crowd, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you're a stone's throw away from the racetrack down there, and yeah, man, it makes for a pretty good vibe, right?
Yeah. San Diego crowd. It's a new venue for me last year. So hopefully we do it again this year.
Breaking new ground, bringing your music to a whole different audience. That's what you're all about, man. So, initially got you interested in music?
Man, I really don't know because I picked these up later in life, you know. So I really wasn't sure I was gonna be a musician. But I've always listened to a lot of music back growing up back home, and I've always wondered how it's done. So that's where we hit, you know.
Now, you said you picked it up later in life. What influences? I mean, who were your musical influences? Obviously, as a working man, you had to work a job. Was there anybody that you were listening to on the radio when you had a hard day, or something that really inspired you to kind of pick up a guitar and start doing this yourself?
Yeah, you know, I think when I wanted to pick up the guitar back when I was little, well, the person I listened to was Bob Marley. That made me want to play, but I didn't know how to play, you know, so it was fun. But that was, first reggae tunes, Bob. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty incredible. Now, obviously, I mean, that's just one part of your act. Just to say that you're a guitarist and a singer songwriter, that's one part of your act. Because I mean, you literally are a one man show. When people come to see you, whether it be Hermosa, Coronado, and many of the multitude of places that you've been to, I mean, you bring the party. So that's such I mean, a different take on the musical scene. Why did you decide to experiment with your sound?
Well, when I first jumped into music, I jumped into music not even knowing what I was doing, dude. I went and started a band. I was like, all right, we're gonna do this band thing. It was cool. We started the band. And then I realized as the band was going, there's a lot of work, and I got to schedule time for rehearsal and bring new songs to the band, and then book gigs. And then sometimes some band members don't even show up for rehearsal. So they show up for rehearsal, and then they're just messing stuff up on when you play for the shows. And I'm just like, dude. So I decided to do the one man thing, you know. So yeah, I'm like accountable for what I do, you know. So I can't rely on anybody else. But it was pretty cool. Having a band was pretty cool. That's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to have a band. For those bands that last for like 20 years, that's a lot of personalities, man. You're dealing with, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and that's one thing that obviously, I mean, there's a lot of bands that I listen to, and one thing that most people don't realize when they're listening to an album of a band that either have just gotten recorded or something like that, the logistical issues, right? Obviously, if you're not a known band, you're managing some semblance of a work life, some semblance of a family life, and what have you. And to get, 3, 4, 5 guys into a studio, into a recording space, just to work on material, man. It's an arduous task. It's an uphill battle.
It's a
So what was the very moment where you kind of like turned? Was there like the drummer got somebody's girlfriend pregnant? Any horrid stories about trying
oh,
to, you know, make an inclusion of a traditional band?
what do you mean the reason why I jumped into being a one man band? Is that what you were asking?
Yeah, or I mean, anything in particular that you're just like, you know what, I'm done. I'm washing my hands with this. I'm gonna do it myself.
Oh no, the main, one of the main reasons was like the drummer. You know, like I was very like at the time too. I was like kind of went beyond the years too with music. I didn't really, I never really understood what music was back then when I started. I think the drummer knew more than I did, so it was one of those things. You play the way I play. I want you to play, or you don't play at all. You know, like so. But the thing, the drummer guy now, I understood now that the drummer guy was actually trying to complement different songs in different ways of playing the drums, you know, which I didn't know that. I was just like narrow-minded with, you know, I was like, oh, you gotta play this way. But then, so then ended up not liking the drummer because he never played the way I played. I wanted him to play. So we went our separate ways, and he took the guitarist with him because I was just a good buddy. So I was left with the bass player. So I decided to try it with, see if I can play the drums and the guitar and sing at the same time. So it took a minute, you know. But then now, as a, you know, more into music. Now you know, I've learned so much throughout the years. I totally understood now what the drummer was trying to do. You know, I'm just like, dude, I was like, I was the dumbass. You know, like I really didn't know. I seriously really didn't know. I just because I listened to his style of music that I wanted to be that sound.
Right.
But the drummer was actually being creative, so in his way. He had more experience in music than I had. You know, I was like, oh man, so I kind of killed that. But it turned out to be good. So like I'm doing the one man thing now. But if I see that drummer, I'll definitely have him play when we play. You know, if I see him, because I totally realized, you know, he was doing the cool thing.
I mean, it seems like I mean the lesson was learned there. You
Oh
know.
yeah, totally, totally. It was like, yeah, I didn't know I was learning those lessons as I go. Now that we're talking about it, I'm just like, damn. You know, my memory is just like going back to the replay and everything. I was like, he actually was doing the cool thing. I didn't even know anything about it. You know, I was like, damn, that was it.
Yeah, man. I mean, hindsight is always 2020 in everything in life, right? And it's sometimes the things that are being taught to you in a particular instance, they don't become brought to light until way out there. You know.
Yeah, excuse me.
So it's I mean it's pretty introspective. Now, in terms of your music, obviously every artist has an impact that they want to leave on the audience. Uh, what is the impact that you would want to leave with your music, in terms of where you want it to be in people's hearts, in people's minds, in people's soul?
Yeah, you know, just positive impact. You know, there's a lot of negative music out there. You know, just different genres out there. So I just want to do something good, something memorable, something people can sing, even their kids can sing. You know, something meaningful, I guess. Maybe
That's
something
incredible.
big, maybe something huge. Like,
I mean, that's as a creative type. I mean, that's what you would want is to. I mean, just a person in general to leave a situation better than what you came into it.
yeah,
You know.
for sure, absolutely. You know, because you know when I started writing songs too, you know, it's like it's very important to write good lyrics. You know, meaningful lyrics, lyric that you know people can hear, listen to, and they could relate to it. You know, or maybe mean. You know, means something to them, something. It's always a challenge to write music in that way.
Yeah, man. And the challenge is real, man. But what you're doing with your music and wanting to leave a positive impression, that's incredible, and you're hopefully you'll inspire just like the people that you listen to when you're having a hard time and thinking about possibly playing music, possibly, picking up any type of instrument,
Yeah,
maybe you encourage somebody when they leave the venue to, hey, they've got a guitar laying around, they've got some drumsticks, maybe a drum pad, and they start to play for themselves. How cool would that be?
yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, if you could make somebody smile, doesn't matter how many crowd is there. If a person leaves the show happy, you've done your job, man. That's it. That's pretty much it. I think, in my opinion, you're gonna have some people that don't like your music, but if you can make somebody happy with your music, it's pretty hard to do. Especially when you're doing it one man band, you have to hold a crowd if depending on the time you play, you know. If you're playing after happy hours or happy hour, people are gonna be it's gonna be a hyper crowd. You have to be able to hold it, like make sure you stay and make the bar money, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
kind of thing. Like not only just playing in the bars or in any venues, you have to be able to hold it, like hold your own. It's always nerve wracking, dude. You don't know what crowd you're gonna get on any shows, so it makes you nervous.
No, absolutely. Now, I can't leave you there without describing a crowd, right? You don't necessarily have to name the venue, the place, or the crowd, but was there a time where it kind of made you realize, like, hey, man, I have to do something more to capture their attention or whatever? Was there like a moment of bombing? I know comics talk about that all the time, where like sometimes bombing a room led them to a path of like greatness because they're like, hey, you can't get any worse than here. Was there ever a moment in your career thus far that you kind of got like, oh my gosh, like not everybody's into this? Was there a moment like that?
Oh yeah, dude, all the time. You know, yeah, dude. Like I screw up every time I gig, but not a lot of people know it. But only I do. But you know, and most nights, you're gonna have those crowds that's just like, just come in and they hear the music. Oh my God, just get the hell out of here. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. But you have to have like thick skin, man. Just play through it. Some are gonna like it. Some are not gonna like your music. It depends on their mood. I think. Where if they come in with a shitty mood and they wanna drown their sorrow. They don't wanna hear some freaking happy music that I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
They wanna stay in that zone, man.
Yeah.
And get pissed off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some people, when they come in, they're like, "Oh yeah, we want to get lively, be happy." They stay,
Right.
So it depends on people's mood, the crowd. Some crowds, you get a crowd that people are just so positive that I'm like, "Oh my God, I don't know what else to play to these guys." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like this crowd is insane. They can't stop dancing. I'm like, throat's killing me, man. You know what I mean? Then you have the crowd that just, all right, I'm going to sing slow songs the whole entire night. That's it. It's the crowd. I'll make it sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it happens to the best of it, but I mean, you definitely know your staying power in terms of what your abilities are and your ability to entertain a crowd when you're able to, whether it be that night or next show, to be able to turn the crowd and literally, like, you have them eating at the palm of your hands, and that's the best.
Yeah, some nights, when you get those nights, that happen, pretty rewarding. Like, you know, when you realize what you're doing here, like, and a lot of people come up to you and say this and that, or you hear it from somebody else, and they're like, oh my God, we went to this camping show, and those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm grateful, I'm very grateful that I could do that to you, so, and they can pass the word on, maybe if they like the music, they can go and look up that person that wrote the music in the beginning, like mostly, sometimes I sing old songs that most people don't know, and then they'll look up the artist, and then they'll be like, oh my gosh, this guy, this girl, So yeah, it's always rewarding when those nights happen. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's a really good night. Like you feel like you actually have accomplished a goal, a big goal, you know what I mean? Which you don't even know. You're high yourself from that vibe.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, sometimes you can't explain it, it's like, you can explain it, but it's gonna take a while to explain it, because you don't really know. When it happens, it happens. And it's a great feeling. Yeah. That's why I love what I do, man. Sometimes you can piss people off too with the music you play.
Of course.
Easily. But my goal is to go the other direction, Don't piss people off with that music. Just try to make them happy and have them enjoy the night. That's it. That's all I can do.
No, man, that's brilliant. And I mean, again, talking about coming into a situation
Excuse me.
and turning the tide. I mean, that's it. And your ability as a performer, as a songwriter, that you're positively affecting the people around you. Now, for those who want to be affected positively, to invite people to take a walk with Wais, where can they find out about your upcoming dates, your social medias, and what have you? What's the best way to book Wais?
Well, you can find out at waismusictoday.com, WAIS, WAIS musictoday.com, yes. And my Instagram is WAIS music one word. And then, I post a lot of my shows there. And my Facebook is Wais Music, WAIS. So, check it out. I'm working on a new EP, so it should be coming out pretty soon, maybe in the summer. And, I hope they like it.
Dang right. I couldn't have ended it better myself. But Wais, thank you for joining me at the According to Wood studio. And again, you want to take a walk with Wais. I have. You should too. Check a date. He's coming near you, to a town near you. And it's a show that you don't want to miss. But this has been According to Woods with the artist that is Wais. And we are out.
Right on.